Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of emzed Interviews with me, your host, Ryan emzed. Thank you so much for joining us again for this fourth episode. We have spoken with Peach, we've spoken with Aoina, we have spoken with Sunday, and today we're going to be speaking to yet another content creator. As you well know, this is the focus of the series, speaking to other content creators, talking to them, learning about them, hearing their perspective, and hopefully that helps us all gain some insights as to how we do things and grow as a team all together. But why don't you go ahead and say hello, new guest?
Hi, my name's Jorpen. What's up?
Not much, man. It's a pleasure to have you on here. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this interview series. So why don't I start by asking for you to introduce yourself to us. Who are you? On, off the content, like however specific, nitty gritty you want to be about that. You tell me what you think best represents you for who you are.
Well, my name's Jorpen. I like long walks on the beach. I'm a Twitch streamer, primarily focus on like story-driven games, whether it be what I originally started with, JRPGs, or moving more into the Western RPGs or various other story-related games, because I like taking those games, dissecting them, and, you know, making fun of them a little, because that's always the best part.
Absolutely. And actually, you touch on something there right away that I was going to come back to. But to continue with a little bit of an introduction here, where in the world are you?
I'm in the Midwest, a.k.a. the breadbasket and the wasteland of the United States.
One sounds endearing, the other one sounds really derogatory.
See, and that's the best part about the Midwest is like both of them are 100% correct, because there's actually some great things here, and then there's nothing.
All right, duly noted. And what do you do? I mean, you mentioned a little bit about what sorts of things you like to focus on with your stream, but what else do you do other than stream? What do you do with your stream? Do you have a job outside of the stream? Tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm actually a full-time student outside. I'm currently in college, my third year of computer science. Well, second year of computer science at this point, third year of going to school. Other than that, I mostly just focus on the stream. It's kind of like it's a full-time thing for me. I kind of juggle the full-time school and full-time streaming thing at the same time. So it's a little bit of both. I'm kind of that dual-edged sword here of, hey, I don't enjoy having time during the school year to do anything but breathe, basically.
Yeah, no, I imagine, especially when, you know, your average. Well, how long would you say your average stream runs for?
5, 6, 7 hours. It depends on the day and the week and what games are at.
Yeah, no, that's usually about the same for me. So 5 to 7 hour stream. Okay. And now, I like to ask this at the beginning, and then we kind of dive deeper into some detail about you. But I like to see what people's answers are to this. And you've listened to the interview I did with Sunday, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I listened to a lot of it. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Sunday was a great interviewee. But the point of the question here is, you've heard this question before. Tell me the elevator pitch of your stream if you have one.
Oh God, what's that show? I can't remember. I was like thinking about it right before, because I was like, oh God, this is the question I'm gonna struggle with. It's the not the whitest kids you know. It's not sketch comedy. It's the improv show. Whose line is it anyway?
Okay.
I like to think of my stream as a version of that, but instead of me playing off another person, I just play off the game. So it's a lot of improv comedy involving like the story of a game, the way it plays, the way it runs, which you'd be surprised how well you can work off of that with some games, trust me. And just overall the way that it will go with Chad and me. I try to focus pretty much 100% on the entertainment value of it, purely in terms of commentary.
Okay, so that's interesting, because again, that brings us closer to sort of my personal thoughts that I developed myself without knowing any of this, watching your stream here and there, to familiarize myself with you. And it seems like, you know, a lot of what you do is sort of laced with this sort of snarky, like sarcastic humor. And I feel like regardless of what it is you're playing, I found myself, I'll be doing dishes and I'll have you like streaming on the side with, Bluetooth speaker or whatever. And you just throw out these quips, and I constantly have these moments where I just kind of like, do a little snort laugh. But I feel like that's kind of like a through line with what you do, because again, something else we'll come back to. I saw you just started attempting to do, a series of interviews, written interviews online, and I that sort of same snarky humor translates to that. So from what you're telling me, if I may repeat it back to you, the point of your stream isn't the games that you're playing. It isn't even, interaction. What you're looking to do is you're basically doing a sort of subtle and much longer running form of like stand-up comedy in a way. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, sort of. I'd say more it's like an improv show, just because of the nature of it. It's not, it's nothing's pre-written or pre-recorded. I don't play the game before I'm like, oh boy, this will be a good joke.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Okay, yeah, I used the wrong words there. But
no,
yeah.
you're good. I figured that's what you meant, but I figured I'd clarify. Gotta be fancy. Yeah, it's definitely more of an improv thing. I've had this quote unquote argument with other streamers before, where I feel like the way I approach it is very different from other people, because I'm very, very adamant about making sure my show is first. The way I put it, I was on we still kind of do run our own podcast, Sunday and I, and another friend of ours, where one of my favorite episodes is we actually had a stream podcast topic dedicated to the idea of entertainment streams and like community streams, and which one is quote unquote better.
Interesting.
I say that in a way of where it's like not better, but like what's the best way to do what you want to do. And as those things go, it boiled down to like, hey, the best thing to do is do what you like. It was inside you all along. But other than that, I was very adamant. Like, I feel like this is how my stream should run. It should focus on the show. The way I put it, let me just summarize it like this. The way I put it is, if there's a chance to talk to somebody or there's a chance to make a joke about the game, I'll make the joke about the game every single time.
That's fair. And you know what? I mean, the thing you said at the end there, you mean do what you like. I feel like something that, my chat kind of razzes me about is I'm shit at keeping up with chat while I'm playing games. It's so I've put some thought into it, because people said, oh, if you ever become big, how are you ever going to keep up with chat then, Rip? And then, it made me think, well, then if that's not really sustainable in the long run, like big streamers and their chat is just this fucking wave of people talking, there's no way to keep up with that. So in the long run, in regards to, building something that can scale sort of kind of like a vector image, it can scale upwards or downwards infinitely. This sort of thing that you're doing, it doesn't rely on you and what the chat is doing and what you're seeing in the chat and responding to the chat. So that it allows you to just focus on what you're doing and continuing to work on and build on that. And if a shit ton of people are there, if not many people are there, you're still able to kind of keep the same thing going and keep building on your craft regardless of whether or not those people are there.
Exactly. Like, I used to struggle as everyone does when they first start out.
Yes.
Where it's just like, hey, nobody's watching. What the hell do I do? I hit a point in my streaming career where I hit a massive lull. I can't tell you the exact time. It was probably right after I finished Persona 4 the first time on stream, which would have been... Oh, God, I'm old.
You're old. How old are you?
21. I'm getting up there, I know.
I'm 27, dude.
I don't remember when it was, but basically I hit this point where, like, the thing I started with was, like, I can't do that. I realized I was like, okay, I love JRPGs. But shit, I can't play these things all the time. So I started playing other games, and I branched off into other genres and stuff. And, people didn't like that. And they're completely entitled to like whatever they want to like.
Absolutely.
That's not me being like, oh, God, you should watch me. No, they did what they wanted to do, and they watched other people, and I had an empty chat. And I just, like, I used to look at my viewer numbers, get really depressed, and it would affect my stream. So one day, to put it frankly, I just said, fuck it. I hit everything, started playing the games I wanted, and just, like, started focusing solely on commentary, right? I used to get in the, like, self-fulfillment cycle of, like, oh, I've got viewers, the number keeps going up, more people are chatting, oh boy, I'm excited, and then it'd go down and be like, oh no, God, what am I doing wrong? But then I finally realized that that doesn't make me happy, and that doesn't give me a good show. So I started to work on separating my success from my success, which sounds weird, but I started getting rid of the fulfillment of getting people to watch me and get more being fulfilled by how much I laughed at my own jokes. Which, if you can tell a good stream day, I can't stop laughing at what I say, which is a good thing because I like doing that. Which means I'm having fun, and that's the best possible thing for me to happen on my streams.
All right, awesome. Yeah, no, if you can keep the show going by yourself, that's the biggest thing. And I mean, some people like myself, I kind of at the beginning, like you said, everyone does. I was so focused on chat interaction. I'd be so excited when I had 2 viewers right at the beginning. I was like, oh my god, there's actually someone here, and I would immediately like say hi, name, do that thing you don't call out lurkers. I called them out because I'm just so excited to have someone to interact with. Yeah, it was bad, but then for me, it was more so kind of building on and developing just my own running commentary. And then whenever someone would talk in the chat, I loved having that sense of interaction with people. So I suppose it's almost more selfish in a way and not as good in the long run. And I mean, I don't mean to make the debate of what isn't better overall as a way or method to stream, because everyone does things differently and people do great things either way, and there are other ways to do it. I think it's important, for those of you out there who are having a bit of a rough time, you're getting started, you don't really have much of a viewership, and you're kind of struggling with, what do I do to build that? What do I do to build that? I think the theme here is, whatever it is you do, focus on being able to do it whether or not people are watching, because you can never rely on that. This is the internet, man. You know how easy it is to middle click on a tab.
Yeah, these people are fickle beasts, man. One day you could have hundreds of people watching you, and the next day like 3 people show up and be like, "Hey, you're dumb," and then that's the entire chat interaction for the day. That's your interaction. Like some random dude just coming in, never seen him, like Poop Feast 48, whatever his name is, right? Just come, yeah. It's always
shorthand for feces.
It's always something like that, and he's just like, "Hey, you're an idiot." And then that's the only person that talks for like 7 hours, and you're just like, well, fuck, dude, I guess I'm an idiot. I don't know what to do here.
That shit, that one message sitting in your chat window the entire
yeah, just every couple of minutes you just stare back and like, man, he's right.
Okay. So, now I want to kind of, now that we've talked a fair bit actually about, the way we stream and, thoughts about the best methods and etc. Let's take it back to the beginning. What got you started? When did you start streaming? What was the impetus for you to start streaming? What got you interested in content creation in general?
Do you want the press answer or the real answer?
I want you to tell me whatever you think is true. I mean, if you don't want to say,
all right, real answer.
Details, yeah, legitimately, I want to hear it if you're comfortable sharing it. That's the point of this, right?
Exactly. I'm very open about this. I have depression problems. Okay. Pretty bad ones at times that I think pretty much every person my age struggles with in one way or another. About 2 summers ago, 2 years ago. Wow, jeez. I basically had not just finished. I'd been out of high school for a year. I just got a job I really hated where I'd sell alcohol to alcoholics basically all day, and it just like depressed me on like a deep level. I was just like, man, this sucks. I quit the job. I moved in with my dad. I was doing nothing with my life basically. I had no direction. I didn't know what to do, and I actually. They're on the subreddit for Game Grumps. They had an open call. Like, hey, we want to record a game. But we need a bunch of people. Can you apply? And I just applied, and I was like, whatever. They won't let me get in. And they actually like, hey, I think I was responding to Ross. He was like, yeah, you're sure, dude. You're in. It was pretty good. So I got on Aoina King's server for 8 hours until 5 a.m. Getting ready to be in a Game Grumps video, and I was actually in it. It's on YouTube. I was the king in the Aoina Kings. Everyone hated me for good reason. That game sucked, and I didn't do well because I couldn't hear anything because it ran at 10 FPS. and the voice chat was broken, so it was a really shitty episode, and nobody really liked what I did.
Oh, no!
And everyone complained, because, like, okay, so, like, we were on there for 8 hours, right? And, like, they didn't start recording until 6 hours in. So there were 6 hours where, like, everyone was just, I don't know what they were doing. Apparently they were just, like, sitting in a corner, like, just, like circle jerk in the Game Grumps or something, because I was like the only person who got people together, because they even told us, like, okay, you guys are gonna make a run to be king. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna need an army, and I'm gonna need arms, and I'm gonna need a fortress. So I got an army, I got arms, and I got a fortress. And so I'm thinking, like, it's been 6 hours when we get there. I'm like, oh, everyone's gonna be kitted out, man. We're gonna be screwed. I get there, everyone's naked with, like, wooden clubs. I have, like, full plate armor and, like, swords and, like, banners. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, this isn't gonna go well.
Oh no, and then you look like a prick because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Exactly, and like everyone in the video is like, "Oh, who's this prick who actually got prepared?" And I even explained in the comments, I was like, oh, yeah, I did shitty, but like I was sitting there for 8 hours, dude. I'm not just gonna like sit there and just jack off on a corner. Like I need to play the game. If the whole point of this is to play video games, but that's just a small story aside. Basically, like that it kind of got me out of my rut, because I was like, oh man, this is actually really fun. I really like the recording process and getting into it. And so I dabbled with Twitch a little bit in the past. I play like League of Legends and DayZ, which, we're not gonna get into that. But I finally decided, like, man, I need to do something with my life. At least, like, pretend to do something. I'll stream video games and see what happens. So I started streaming this game I never played before, because I just finished Persona 4 off stream. And I really, really loved it, because I just kind of got back into JRPGs, because I had large amount of times where I was doing nothing. So they fit perfectly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I started Persona 3, and it was actually crazy, the amount of support I got. I think when I was playing the finale of the game, I had like 70, 80 people watching when I had been streaming for like 2 weeks.
Good for you.
Because it was a huge niche game that I had no idea about, that anyone even liked. So I had like, not hundreds, I shouldn't say millions. I had a couple people every day who'd come in and be like, "Hey man, what's up? I see you're this far in the game. How you enjoying it? Whatever." And I talk to them, talk about it, do my funny voices that I like to do. People enjoyed it. And ever since then, I've just kept doing it, and I've turned it into something that I can actually support myself outside of school with. And it's just like, holy, how did I get to this point making stupid Mike Tyson voices and poop jokes over a Japanese high school simulator, dude?
Okay, that's super cool. And I see that after doing a little bit of peripheral research about you, I mean, I kind of basically went through your Twitch panels and scrolled through your Discord a little bit. And, I clicked on your YouTube videos, and whatever I do when I see someone has a YouTube channel, let this be a forewarning for anyone else I interview, but I scroll all the way down and I look at the first video. Look at the first couple of videos. It looks like, let me double check it here. Your first video was uploaded on January 5th of 2015. And was this an upload of a stream?
Yeah, it was a highlight of a DayZ stream. I actually remember the exact video. It was the first time I ever killed somebody in DayZ, because I'd never done it. Because I was like, when I was younger, I was like really nice. Before I started streaming, I was like really nice. Like in every game I played, like in games like that, I could never like bring myself to ever just like shoot anybody on sight, or like I would just always be like, "Hey man, what's up? You want to be friends?" But now the ways of the world have hardened me, and I've realized I need to just kill everyone on sight in survival games, because they'll do the same. But I remember it was like this guy just like ran up to me silently, and I was just like, "Well, what's up?" And he just kept like trying to attack me, so I just shot him in the face, and like that, he broke my leg, so I just sat in a field and kind of died. But I thought it was like the funniest thing, because I like got him, and I was just like, "Oh, well, now I'm screwed. I don't know what to do." Well, there's like people shooting around, so I just hid in a bush and slowly starved to death. It was fun.
High octane gameplay.
Oh, you know it.
So you started on Twitch. So talk to us a little bit about your progression. So your first 2 weeks were insane. You said you got a whole bunch of support, but then you also talked about having a lot of slow streams. So once you switched off of Persona 3, that those people interested in that niche game went off and pursued other things, presumably. So talk a little bit about, your progression and coming forward, because you've come a long way. I mean, you're currently sitting at, what was it, 2,500, almost 2,600 followers. So tell us a little bit about the progression, your story, TLDR over the course of the past few years.
Basically, small boy starts with niche games. Small boy has people who watch and enjoys it. Small boy moves to other games. People stop watching. small boy says, "Screw it," and then slowly starts going back up. Is the way I would TLDR it, just because I used to be like obsessed, like, okay, I've got to get better. I gotta see the numbers go up. Because like I was a sad kid, just focused on like the one thing. I was like, oh, this is what's validated. Look, I'm not useless, Dad. Look at me. I've got people watching me on the internet. But it's slowly, I slowly had to draw myself away from that, because it was just it was a vicious cycle where it was just
It's
like
a soul killer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, man, I'm not even enjoying what I'm doing. I gotta change something. So eventually, I just said, like, I think the best way to do this is just to make sure that I'm having fun. I think I need to worry about that first before I worry about anything anyone else cares about, because I can't give anyone a good show if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing at all.
Absolutely. Now, something to come to hang on numbers for one moment, just because I'm curious. But before I do quite that, when I went down to that video, I saw the channel handle that you had before. It was, is it okay if I share it?
Oh, please do. Oh.
It's http://www.twitch.tv/insane spoon.
I had that name since Halo 1 came out on the PC, right? I played that in like 4th or 5th grade. I don't even remember online forever, because I used to. This may shock you, but I like video games. I've been playing them my whole life.
Really?
Yeah.
You too?
Oh my god, dude, twins! Oh my gosh. No, I've been playing. Yeah, I've been playing since I was like 4, so like 17 years now. I don't want to talk about it. Think of all the things I could have done with my life, man.
Tell me about it, dude.
No, it's just like I was playing with some guy online, and I remember his name. I don't remember the exact story, but his name was like something Spoon. And he's like, hey, I was like, hey, that's insane. He's like, insane Spoon. I was just like, I'm stealing this forever. This is mine, trademark, LLC, copyrighted. But eventually I realized, like, hey, this name reminds me of my 3rd grade self. I can't do it. So I just started throwing random. I just started thinking, I was like, okay, this is actually my thought process for Jorpen. I was like, okay, my name's Jeremy. All right, I'm just going to kind of move vowels and consonants around until I get something I like. And I was like, hey, Jorpen. I was like, hey, that's pretty good. I like that. I'm going to stick with that. And I've been that way ever since.
Honestly, I think Jorpen's a good name. Jorpen. It just feel. I actually legitimately just enjoy saying Jorpen.
Yeah,
Jorpen.
It's really like, that's what I thought when I just kept saying it over and over when I first came up with it, because it's just like, there's something about that OR, dude, where it's just like, man,
Jorp.
This is fun. Yeah, it's like Jorp. Like it's just like it's
Swedish.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the Europeans like Jorpen, and I'm just like, hey, I guess that's me now. Whatever.
Awesome. And then that's when I used to play MMO RPGs. When I would try to come up with a character, that's literally what I would do. Is like I'd just sit there and just smash syllables together until I was like, okay, all right, here we go. But for a while. Sorry, go on.
What are your? I'm actually interested to see. So if you kind of just like smash names together with your name, what are some of the ones you've come up with? Come on, I shared my embarrassing past names. All right, it's your turn now, Ryan.
The 2 that I came up with, one that I came up with a long time ago, and then I didn't like the character very much, and then I gave my little brother that character profile. It was in Phantasy Star Online episode 1 and 2 for the GameCube.
Those are great.
Me and my little brothers, we sat there and played couch co-op forever. That was so much fun to play co-op. But anyways, that digression. The one that I came up there was XELEK, Zelik. And my little brother, it's like a big part of his identity now. Like he still uses that tag.
Oh, that's super cool. You like passed it down to him. Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that adorable?
Yeah, that is actually adorable. Holy moly.
And then the other one that I used for a long time, I would always pick like the Archer DPS characters because I thought they were fucking cool. You know,
yeah.
I'm the kind of loser who started World of Warcraft and immediately made a Night Elf Hunter.
Oh my god, typical World of Warcraft starter right there. Just like, yeah. I'm gonna be the Night Elf Hunter, the darkness.
I can get pets. The name that I came up with wasn't there. It was some free RPG MMO, whatever. Point being is it was Sindothil.
I like that. It reminds me of like a prescription drug, but I like that.
There you go. Take that with your Aleve, I guess.
Take that with your night elf hunter right here. Give you a little sleep pill with this arrow here.
Okay, so bring everything back on topic. So now we know where your name came from. But talking about your progression, I have Social Blade open. Again, as I said last episode when talking to Sunday, Social Blade isn't meant to be sort of a be-all, end-all of this is, the life and death of your stream. It's just interesting to bring up so you can point out a few moments where there was an uptake in sort of interest in your content. So it's interesting to see kind of what things happen at those times. Because I see in particular there's two spots in your history where there was a significant amount of growth. So I see in around July of 2015, it started in April and then kind of petered off into September of 2015, you had a fairly significant amount of growth. You were getting, anywhere between 100 and, 240 followers over the course of those few months. And then again, in May of 2016, you had a 1,000 follower jump. So first talking about that span in 2015, what were you doing then? Was that around when you started, or?
Yeah, I started. I think my first day of my first day of full-time streaming is April 18th. The real thing I've told everyone is I don't remember. And it was somewhere around April, May, June, July-ish. Like, I was getting steady growth just playing personas, the personas, if you will, and just kind of focusing on RPGs and just like playing random things that I wanted to at the time that a lot of people really enjoyed. I don't know what happened after that. Honestly, it's still something I try to figure out. Like, I don't really know what happened or what I did because I don't remember. Because that was like the time period after that is like where I really started to struggle and didn't enjoy what I was putting out personally, and I was getting really frustrated at myself. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is a direct cause of that. I don't know if it was the games I was playing or just whatever. I think it was just solely my commentary where it's just like, I kind of sucked, and I need to not suck.
Mm-hmm. And then try like kind of struggling to say like, okay, but what does that look like? What does that mean? How do I action this sort of like frustration?
Yeah, and I was working on that, and I was just like, man, how do I do this? I'm like, man, I just need to make better poop jokes. and then I did it, and I started getting better and happier. Well, I don't know if I did that in my first year. I think that's more of a second year than now kind of thing, but where I was actively cognizant of it, I should say. I think in my soul, my streaming stupid soul, I was like, okay, this is probably what I need to do. But my brain was just like, nah, dude, come on, you gotta just play League of Legends and be a League of Legends stream. Come on. It was just something like that. The other one though, I do want to talk about it a little bit. I know Sunday touched on it a little bit.
Similar.
We all got like follow botted in a short period of time. Like anyone that knew him, which was kind of weird, and also view botted. I remember I was playing Persona 3 again as part of my 1 year anniversary or something. I was playing it for some reason. I don't remember why. I was getting view botted for like 400 people, and like in a niche game, it doesn't matter. Because, well, I guess we were getting, like, view-botted, chat-botted, follow-botted, like, all the three things, right? So, like, if someone's trying to, like, hurt you and get people to come in and be like, hey, you're view-botting, you're an asshole. Like, why are you doing it for someone who were, like, I'm literally the only person streaming? Like, you're not... No one's gonna be like, hey, this guy's view-botting. Like,
this guy's trying to climb the ladder of the people streaming this game.
Yeah, let me just view-bot myself in a dead category. Oh, boy, that's gonna get a lot done. No, like, yeah, we were all getting view botted, follow botted, etc. I remember the day I got followed by, I woke up with 1,000 emails because I still had like Twitch still notified me about people following. They still do, but at the time I was just like opened my phone and I saw 1,000 new messages. Like, huh, something happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
And just it sucked because I used to have follower goals, right? And where I was just like, okay, I'll do special streams. I can't do that anymore because I don't know what my followers realistically are anymore.
Well, I mean, can you like draw a line under it and just start doing it again and just?
I can, but the thing is like a lot of people also followed during that time too, because like surprisingly, like a lot of real people, and it makes it hazy, and I don't want to. I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable making goals when I know that like about 1,000 of those accounts may or may not be real at this point, you know?
Well, I think you should be careful not to undermine, your work that you did, because, you said about 1,000 of those, because I saw it on Social Blade, it did say, it was 1,002, sorry, 10.2K, 10.02K, so 1,020-ish followers were bots, but that's still means that you have, at least 1,400, 1,500 people who followed you legitimately, who were interested in you and your content. So, I mean, I don't think you should undermine. I mean, this is me telling you my opinion, but I don't think you should undermine yourself and your work and your progression that you've done so far. I would personally, this is me talking here again, I would say that just draw a line under it. Say, forget what happened so far. When I hit, 2,600, we'll do a thing. 27, 28, 29, 3,000. And I mean, if you pick back up in speed of growth, then you can kind of set larger gaps between special things. But point being, I don't think you should discredit yourself to stop doing that altogether.
I think you're 100% right. It's just, it kind of goes along with like that disassociation thing I was talking about. It's just like, because it feels like once I set a goal for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just me being dumb, but it's just it feels like I need to push that at some point, right? Like I had a sub goal at one point where I was like, hey, I'll do 20-hour stream for 20 subs, and then I did it, and I actually like lost like 3 subs, and man, that just sucked. Like,
wow, after you kill yourself for something that heavy, and then people are like,
yeah, I just felt really bad, and then that made me realize, like, man, I don't want to do that, like.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it felt like sell-outy, for lack of a better term. It's just like, well, I don't want my measure of progression to be measured numerically. I want it to be measured like existentially. Like,
well, there's intrinsic and there's extrinsic. The intrinsic satisfaction comes from you internally sort of feeling that you are satisfied because of what you're doing. You feel good because you can see that progression, you can see that you've attained the goal, you've achieved the thing, you're getting better at the thing. That's what intrinsic means. Extrinsic reward is feeling good because your follower number went up, or because you have people in your chat talking to you, or your view numbers are up, or you have more subs. So what you're telling me is you're I don't think the word latch is a good word. I don't want to use the word latch, but you're very much focused on intrinsic sort of goals, and you to the point where you're pushing away extrinsic.
Yeah, because extrinsic goals are depressing for me sometimes. It's just...
Well, what I would say is that not to make it like I have to hit 3,000 followers, and then just like, because that's something I myself have struggled with, is like, should I even put sub goals, because I see a lot of other streams do that, and they do great for themselves, but I feel like at the same time it's a little it's not masturbatory, but that's the closest word I can come to for it.
Oh,
like,
I
it just
agree.
feels growth. It's just so I don't mean to deride or belittle other people, because I'm very much like you in that I'm trying to make sure that like I'm growing and I'm not hooked on and focusing on too much numbers. But I still feel like, you can give people some fun with the numbers by, just when we hit on the next set of followers, we'll have some fun with it. Just focus on followers instead of worrying about, doing something based on subs, because then it's genuine. It's like, hey, more people are here hanging out. Let's do a fun thing for all these new people who are here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I got to that point. I didn't want to start associating money with success. As you said, I wanted to go more intrinsic. If we're talking, like the pyramid of needs, like I need that self-actualization. I need, like, okay, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is fulfilled. I personally, because the reason I don't like to focus on things, I should touch on a little bit, is I'm a very goal-oriented person.
Okay.
Like, I'm the person, like, where if I'm doing something, it has to be towards something. I used to hate taking bike rides with my mom because we weren't going anywhere. Like, it's that, like, severe, where it's just like we have to have something at the end. There has to be something I can achieve that I can work towards. And so, like, once I get to that, I'm like, because I like this so much. This is honestly weird for me, because I've never been a workaholic my whole life. Like, as a kid in school, I was like the slacker kid who was like, oh, I just get A's, so I don't have to try, whatever. And that's a different story for another time.
Yeah, bites you in the ass later, but
yeah, exactly.
I know that.
Yeah, it's a story for another time. But it's because of the way I've never been a workaholic my whole life. This is the first thing where I'm like, I just want to keep going. I want to keep like I've had to purposely like stop myself. I've had to set the schedule. It's less because it's like, oh, these are the times that work for me and they're good. It's more so like, hey, I don't get consumed by what I do anymore.
Okay.
Because that can it's actually harmful towards what I do as well. Like, because
You burn out.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Absolutely. A Jorpa sad boy.
Yeah.
So tell me, I suppose, something that sort of surprised you in your journey creating content on Twitch primarily. Because it sounds like YouTube is very much sort of a satellite to what you do on Twitch. That's not your focus. It's just something you kind of upload content to occasionally to have some sort of a permanent platform for your content. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, YouTube's dead to me. Yeah, I just like internally I don't like YouTube. There's just something scummy about it. I don't know. I hate not the people. Well, a little bit the people on it, but like it's mostly the way they run it. I'm. What's the best word for this? I don't like. I know it sounds
culture?
so like no, it's not that. It's like it sounds so like millennial like bullshit, right? But I don't like the man. I don't like like I don't like it's dumb because I stream on Twitch, like the biggest streaming platform.
Well, I was gonna say Twitch is becoming very much more like the man.
Yeah,
as,
exactly.
time goes on.
It's just like everything in the culture of YouTube to me feels really like just. Like, okay, we got to get more and more. It's less corporate and more like, oh, we got to get more and more. We need the money. We need the views. Like, I see people that I used to like really respect. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to put some big YouTubers on blast. Oh God, look at this 2,000 follower streamer is gonna put me on blast, dude. Oh shit. But these bigger YouTubers, I used to really respect and enjoy their content. Slowly devolved into like these pits of like vlogs and like just stupid inane bullshit that like I think that nobody cares about, but apparently people really do because they're doing better than they ever were before. And it's just like, it's like I can see them like dying.
Jesus.
But it might be like me, like it's me kind of like putting myself on them, right? Like
projecting.
It's me, projecting. That's what it is. It's me projecting. Like it's like if I did that, I could just see myself burning out and just hating my life. And it's like, oh, they must be doing it too, whether they like it or not. It just seems like I don't know. I don't want to say scummy, but it just doesn't seem right to me. You know?
Well, I think that, it's good of you to call yourself out and saying that you're projecting a little bit, because based on what you're saying before, all those things sound very much like the kind of things you're trying to avoid for yourself, just putting out content, for the sake of sticking with trends and things like that. You want to focus on yourself and your own personal growth. And I imagine that's probably I was going to say, I bet that's a struggle, but I'm not there. I don't know what it's like. I haven't walked a mile in their shoes, but I imagine there's some difficulty with retaining that sort of dedication to yourself and your intrinsic goals, while also now doing everything you can to expand and grow, because there can be some sort of dissonance between those two types of gratification.
Yeah, there's a definite dissonance between it. I think for the person, because you can look at the numbers and you can see it. It's more of a concrete thing than just like, oh, this is how I feel. Like it's more of a concrete thing that people latch onto and they start to just drive for it and run for it, and just like they lose that internal thing along the way. And I'm a firsthand case of this, whereas like that happened to me. And I had to take a step back and I had to realize like, look, like even if this is what I'm running for, I'm gonna suffer. Everything I do is gonna suffer. I'm not going to have a show I'm proud of. I may have a show that's successful, but I might not have a show that I'm proud of. And being proud of what I do and feeling like I'm progressing more personally as like a human being, which I know sounds dumb when you're just playing video games in front of people for like 7 hours. It's like, oh, I'm becoming a better person, man. Oh, self-actualization. Like that sounds really stupid. I know. And I realize how like it's something I struggle with internally. It's just like, man, like I say all these things where it sounds like, oh, what I do is important. It's really not. Anybody can do it. The thing is, anybody can do it, but only a few people can do it well. And I feel like the best way to do it well is just to not fall into that trap and just focus on what makes you feel good inside and what makes you happy. And I know it sounds so dumb that it's just like, yeah, just do what makes you happy. Come on, little Billy, get out there. Just go ride the motorcycle. Like it's just I don't know. It feels like circle jerky, but it's what makes me happy.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, you're saying we're just playing video games, whatever. And like on the one hand, yeah, we're just sitting around playing fucking video games on camera for hours on end, and some people fucking watch, and that's what we do. But at the same time, let me say this: I've been looking for work recently in real life, kind of looking to find a new job, and I questioned whether or not I should put the fact that I edit YouTube videos for my team and Twitch onto my resume. And I thought about it long and hard, and I said, no, you know what? That is something that I'm proud of. That is something that I feel like I've used to grow as a person. I feel like I've gained valuable skills from this thing, and I put it on there. I put on there that I stream. I put on my resume, like, this is alongside working at a bank for 3 years. This is alongside working retail, selling pool equipment to skip all my guts about what I do, and that's on there beside that stuff, the talking about insurance and credit cards and bank accounts. And also I make YouTube videos about me playing video games, but and it's come up in interviews, and I say, but look, I have experience managing a community. I have experience, regularly creating content. This is something that I do and I keep up with and I keep working on. So I have personal drive, goals of my own that I work towards externally to anything that I do for a living. And honestly, every interviewer that I've spoken to so far, they mention that, and I've used it when answering interview questions, and they're very interested, and they like the answers they hear. So I would say, I would actually take the stupid talk out of what you're saying. I'd say that you should take ownership of what you do and sort of like be proud of that, man.
I get what you're saying, and I'm the same way. Like if I were to be applying for jobs, I would put it on there because it's like I'm running a business. I'm a self-driven entrepreneur, like it's the equivalent of it. I need to be on time to I've got hours I work, and then I'm running everything outside of it. And I do the exact same thing. It shows, I never thought I had drive, and then I found it. But I get what you're saying, and it's like I said, it's kind of like in my head, it's it's the two sides where it's like yeah, I mean, like what I do is really important to me. But I know it sounds like that nihilist thing, where it's just like none of it matters. Like it's just like, because I look, because it pisses me off about it like legitimately pisses me off about like people who look up to people like me, right? And they're like, I want to be like that, because like you shouldn't. I'm not the kind of person you should look up to just because like. Sure, like I really do. Like it is really part of my core. I want to make people happy. Like that's why I started. That's not why I started. That's why I keep going.
Honestly, but I think that's something that people could look up to, and seeing, the way that you do that, and, the honesty that you have in the way that you want to put on a great show for people. I think that's absolutely something admirable, and people would be right to strive for that.
Oh, stop it, you.
No, legitimately, I believe that.
That's the thing is like, man, because I think about that too. It's like, yeah, like people, maybe I am doing something good here. But then there's the other side of me, like, yeah, that should just be like, people should just like not be assholes. Like that should be the standard.
Well, should and are two different things.
You were very right, and that's another thing I've learned in my Twitch career.
So, to bring everything back to the initial question that got us off on this tangent, what was something that surprised you about your journey creating content on Twitch?
What I just said actually brings it right back as well, because the people, it's really shocked me, like how many people. It really learns to temper your expectations, right? Like I know it sounds dumb as 21, but I live my life. I've been out working. I've dealt with shitty people. I've dealt with good people. There are good and bad people in the world, but like Twitch is. There's something about like Twitch where it kind of gives you like a sixth sense for how people are, right? Because now that I've put on the mask, no one cared who I was till I put on the mask, whatever. But like, once you put on the mask and you get into the shoes of like a content creator, which, God, this sounds so circle jerky. I hate talking about it like this.
No, don't allow us talking about it seriously to to lessen what it is we're talking about. It's because I feel like even though I like your approach and I think that it's a lot of fun and lighthearted just to not take it seriously and like very adamantly refuse to make it into a businessy thing, I still think that you can, have a serious conversation about it without becoming, one of the man's suits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like be confident in like saying how you feel about it in sort of a serious context.
You need to be seriously unserious.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like any sort of trade or like an art form, for example. You have to know how to do it right before you do it wrong on purpose.
Exactly. Which is.
But anyways,
okay. Yeah. Where was I?
Sorry, we were talking about surprise people on Twitch.
Yeah, it's once you like put on the mask. I've said this like 7 times now. Apparently, I really like this allegory. Ooh. Once you like adopt that, pardon me for where I came from, that persona, you can kind of read people and you can see like this is how like people do, this is how they feel. And sure, it's a little bit projecting, but at the same time, like when I watch streams now, I can tell who's phoning it in. Like, even if they're playing it up, I can tell, like, man, that guy's having a bad day. I can tell because these little cues here and there. Like, I've seen my VODs. I know exactly I do the same shit, and I felt this way. It's little, like, physical tells that, your eye picks up on. It's not something they say or whatever that they do. Unless they're open, like, I'm having a shitty day. Then, that's kind of like, all right, make it easy. Why don't you? No, it's just like little physical tells, and you can tell when someone's having a lot of fun because then again, it's those little physical tells, and I feel like if you're phoning it in, don't do it.
Yes. So you say that what surprised you was sort of the affinity that you developed for being able to see when people are being disingenuous and then sort of, developing your own opinion about that and how it's done and etc.
It's actually made me, like, give me the ability to read people better because I used to be really socially awkward. I was the kid who looked at his tennis shoes while anyone was talking to him because he didn't know what to do. Now I just look people in the eyes and I'm just like, okay, this is how it's going to be. Like,
look at this kid with his fucking tennis shoes. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Yeah.
Tennis shoes? I just got fucking shitty running shoes. La-di-da.
Oh, sorry, man. I came from the rich family. We got the $60 shoes here, all right? We had those Reeboks.
Oh, boy. New Balance. Let's go.
Yeah, when the kids saw me on the court, they're like, oh, he's looking fly. And then they never spoke to me because I looked at my shoes and cried a little.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you for being on, man.
No problem, dude. I'm enjoying this.
Now, what was something that was easier than you expected on Twitch?
I know
in your growth.
I know this is completely contrary to what everyone says, but I thought it was really easy to get started and like just get an audience and get going. Because people approach it from the wrong way. Like if you approach it from a point of like, I'm gonna be the best League of Legends streamer of all time, good luck. Holy shit. I started with just the niche games that I enjoyed. The games that like nobody really, when you go on Twitch, like, people liked them, but nobody really actively like, okay, I'm a Persona streamer. I'm going to play Persona 3 every day for the rest of my life. Nobody did that. They just kind of played them off and on.
Yeah.
And I made sure that I found the games that I really, really enjoyed first. And then if they had a niche, people came. If they didn't, then I enjoyed them and the people who were already there enjoyed it. And so I just kind of like became this like snowball where it's like, okay, I got started with Persona 3, but now it's got a bunch of collection of people. Like, some people like fighting games. I used to stream a lot of fighting games back in my Persona 4 Arena days, and I got a bunch of people from that who still watch me. I can name names. These people are genuinely like my friends. I remember
Nice.
I remember these things, and like people from Persona 4 Arena. I've got people from Metal Gear Solid. I've got this big jumble of people who all enjoy like the same kinds of games that I do, but like maybe we all disagree about things, and I love that. I really love that I can disagree with people and we can still be cool, because I feel like that's something lost in the modern age, and that's that's great. Talking.
And what do you think was something that was harder than you expected?
Something harder than I expected. Getting out of that rut, because I think it's really easy as a streamer to get in the rut of like, oh, okay, I need to have goals. I need to have very obvious bullet points that anyone can address to determine success. I think it's really easy to get in that rut and just start to be bad at it, because those goals become your intrinsic goal, right? You make them a part of you, and then once you don't hit them or you do hit them, you're your entire existence, if you do this full time, this is obviously from the perspective of someone who does this full time, they become like, this is your worth as a human being. You're failing today. Oh, you only got 2 followers today. Oh, looks like you're worth only 2 followers, you piece of shit. You know, like it's like that. It becomes so like extrinsic and intrinsic to you that it's like you start to suffer as a person outside of it, right? You start to focus too hard on it. It starts to infect your real life. And I mean, that's going to happen to anyone. Like, I still get sad about the way my stream is some days, like anybody, you know, because some days that we all have bad days where it's like, man, I didn't do good today, or like, you know, nobody's watching, because I can tell even though I don't look. I still have to, every day that happens, to take that step back. I'm like, look, are you proud of the show? Yes or no? That's what matters.
Yes. Good. Now, what is something that you can say that you're proud of about your stream? Like, if there's one thing that you could pin a medal to, what would that be about you, the community, like whatever? Like, I've had different answers in regards to this, but what would you say is the one thing you're the most proud of about everything you've done so far?
I'm picking 2 things. You can't stop me, host.
Hey,
all right?
man. Cut that medal in half, dude. Go for it.
The thing I'm most proud of, more than anything, is I'm really proud of how my commentary has gotten a lot better. Because I used to spend every like day after streaming like, man, I could have made that joke there. Man, it would have been funnier to do that, and that. And like now, most days when I play games, I'm like actually like I'm laughing at what I say. I'm like I'll go back and watch the VOD and like clips, and I'll laugh at my own jokes. I'm actually like really proud to see my growth, my personal growth as like a comedian, because that's what's important to me, is like making sure that I'm funny and people like the jokes, and that, not that people like the joke, I shouldn't say it, because I don't really care if they like the jokes. I care if I like the jokes.
Yeah.
And then if they have the same sense of humor, they'll care too.
Yep.
But it's just like my progression is getting better as a quote unquote comedian, and being able to improv. Those are like the things that I think as a personal thing I like the most, just because it's like I'm definitely getting better, and I'm only going to get better, and I think that's going to be my key to being, you know, better as a person and as a streamer and whatever. Second thing I'm most proud of is like that big snowball of people I've collected, because like they may not be there every day, but like, the people I talk to and I hang out with every day, I genuinely do consider them some of like the best friends I've ever had. We may disagree. They may not be there every day. I may not see them for weeks or months. And I know every streamer says like, "Oh, my community is great," but like the groups of people that I've gathered and that I remember and I can talk to, and I remember conversations with them, and it just makes me realize like how nuanced and, you know, not deep, but like varied every person is, and how
gain that appreciation for individuals.
Yeah, I've gained the appreciation for like humanity. Like
that's amazing,
because it's really easy to dehumanize, and I really hope I don't struggle with this when or if I get big. Where like I don't want to be that streamer who's like, "Oh, hey chat, you're a fucking asshole," like, you know, they just like sits there and insults chat as a collective, because like I want to take, even when there's a bunch of people, I try to take that step back, and even like someone's being a dick, I try to take that step back, and I'm like, this is another human being behind a screen. This is probably like some like kid who's just lashing out, having a terrible day. He's calling me a cock muncher, you know, like we've all been there. We all wanted to be like, hey, this guy's doing good, fuck this guy, like. Like we've all been there, and I understand it. So I try to take a step back, and like if they're, you know, I'll give them a chance. Like, look, man, I know you're probably feeling shitty, but like, come on, like I'm just the guy here. We're all people. Be nice, and then if they don't, then they can fuck off. But yeah, but most people, you'd be surprised. Most people, like, as long as they're not they don't take the step forward and like try to troll, right? They're not actively trying to be like, oh, memes. You know, most people will be like, man, maybe this guy isn't so bad, and I just try to show, like, you know, we're all people. Like I'll be
humanity.
Yeah, exactly. Like on my bad days, I'll be honest, be like, I'm having a bad day. I probably shouldn't be doing this. You know, or I'm having a good day. Like I just try to show the more human side. It's a show, but I'm a person. You know, like I have problems. We all do.
Absolutely. Now, what would you say is your vision for the future, and kind of tying into that, what is your dream? So, you know, however realistic or, you know, head in the clouds you want to be about that, what sort of do you hope for what you're doing right now? Where do you want to see this go?
I want to see this go on for as long as it possibly can, because honestly, like, this is my dream. I learned that. Like, this wasn't exactly what my dream was when I was a kid. Right? I was like, I'm gonna grow up to play video games. Like, I just play video games. No, it's more of the intrinsic thing. I always dreamed about like pretty much every like job I've had. I just like I want to help people because that's what makes me feel good. You know, it's selfish, but it's like helping people makes me feel good, so I want to do it. And
honestly, I connect with that personally on a personal level. That's something that I've carried through every job that I've been a part of. I just like I love helping people, so I really connect with that.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? It's just like to see somebody like anytime I get a message from somebody, I know it's a little personal, but anytime I get a message from somebody, like sure, like people subscribe and they give me money and they donate, and I really like genuinely do appreciate it because that means so much to me. That like you think that shitty joke I just made was good enough for like $2, dude? Like I exhaled some air through my vocal cords. And you're giving me money? Hell yeah. But like the people were I'll get PMs sometimes and people are just like, like you really helped me through like a hard time. And I really appreciate that. I'm just like, oh god, that means more than anything. Stop. Like it honestly makes me tear up because it's just like I know how that is. I know where it was. I'm glad you're doing better because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that nobody was in that place with me. And that makes me happier than anything.
So then paint for me a picture, what is the dream literally exactly what's happening and what you're doing now? Do you intend, when you're done school, do you intend to kind of say fuck it for whatever you went to school for and just go ham on this? Like, or what perfect world, in a perfect Jorp land, if, you could right now write the script for your, well, quote unquote, the script, like you can set the initial circumstances right now for how everything's going to be, what would Jorp be doing in perfect land?
All right. The year's 20XX. All items are banned. Fox is the only character left.
I'm so happy you know Melee.
Only a little bit. But realistically, it's what I'm doing. It is what I'm doing now. But hopefully, personally, I want it to be bigger. I want to be better. I want to be bigger and better. Who doesn't? I've accepted that I want to grow bigger. Everybody does. But I want to feel better about it. I feel pretty good about it now, but I want to get to a point where I don't feel like pressured to do like have to play certain things, right?
Yes.
I want to just be able to be like pick up any game where I'm like, this looks fun, because I really like playing shitty like B-movie games. Like one of my favorite stream playthroughs is what's it called? Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy.
Oh.
That game sucks.
I've never played it, but I've seen clips.
David Cage is a master of disaster, as I like to put it. It's a terrible game, but it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. Completely unintentionally in the best possible way. And I enjoy playing things like that. But nobody watches it. And that makes me really sad. I want people to see these games that aren't like the top 10 games, on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, anybody can fucking play League of Legends. I did. I got Diamond, and I'm shit at that game. Anybody can play these like competitive games and like do good with them, and I shouldn't discount that. That feels really shitty because it's hard to be good at those games and hard to be good streamer of them, especially because trust me, I've tried. Yes. But yeah. I want to prop up those games that maybe people don't know about, or maybe only I know about, or whatever. And
it's
also
something you're passionate about. Yeah. It's something that's personal to you that you really think is like great and fun, and other people should be able to experience it with you.
Yeah, and that's why I play new games, because I want to find those new games that like people may enjoy or whatever. Prop them up. I also play the old games that people tell me about, because maybe I could show somebody who hasn't played it and show them that hey, you may think games suck now, which is a very common trope that we hear a lot, but there's a lot of stuff you can go back, and there's a lot of stuff to look forward to in the future. So hey, come along on the Jorp Express. We're gonna play some video games, and I'm gonna make some real good jokes about them. Oh yeah.
Let's go. Now I'm gonna hit you with this last question here before we get into a bit of fun, which I always like to do at the end of the interviews. But
fun. Oof, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to grit your teeth. But before we get to that, if there was something you could say now, and every single other content creator, streamer, peer would hear you say this, what would you want to say? Like, anyone from the very top Twitch streamer to the lowly person on YouTube and Twitch who's, well, I say lowly not in a derogatory way, but in comparison.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But the point being, they're only getting a couple of viewers. They're sitting at 20 followers and they don't know what to do. They're already frustrated.
The peasants.
But legitimately, if you could say something right now, one thing, and everyone heard it, what would that be?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Make sure you love what you do. I feel like that would resonate the most with everyone, just because I feel like there's a lot of big people, and I think there's a lot of people across the entire spectrum who honestly just don't like video games. And, like, that's okay. You may like your only one video game or whatever, but, don't feel like you need to jump onto the next big thing and be something that you're not. Just be proud of what you can provide, be happy with what you can provide, and just be happy with yourself more than anything. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to streaming. And, the non-sentimental answer is, hey, you guys suck!
Beautiful. So there we go. Thank you very much for answering those questions and kind of being open with me and going through that there. But now I have a little bit of a questionnaire. I don't know if you caught the end of Sunday's interview, did you?
I did not, actually. I got about,
Okay,
I think,
good.
like 3/4 the way through.
Perfect. Well, this will keep you nice and fresh and open for these questions. So this is a questionnaire called the Pivot questionnaire. It's from a TV series called Inside the Actors Studio. Are you familiar with that show at all?
I've seen like half an episode on MTV once, and it was like Lindsay Lohan like coked out. So yeah, a little bit.
Wow, I didn't know she was on there. Okay.
It might have been. It was somebody coked out. Like all I remember is the coked out part, honestly.
So inside the Actors Studio, to give you the context for what the whole thing is about, the gentleman there, James Lipton, he's a fantastic interviewer, and what he would do is he'd bring artists, actors primarily onto his show, and he would interview them, and he just ask them questions, talk about their history and their progress, their craft, etc. And after all these questions, after these big discussions he would do this questionnaire thing. And it's just, 10 different questions about you, and, just they're fun, and they're also like beautifully intimate, I think. So I like to have some fun with these at the end. I feel like it's a good capstone to the seriousness of the interviews, typically speaking. I mean, we were cackling most of the time, but
I'm ready, I think.
all right. Question 1. What is your favorite word?
Oh no. Can I phone a friend?
Just don't stress about it. This isn't a contest to be, to see how profound you can be. Just whatever's in your heart, just share.
I don't know, because it like changes. Because there'll be
Okay.
like there'll be like phrases that I have where I'm just like, I'll just say them like a ton.
Okay.
So like
Well,
right now,
give
what
me
I'm
an example of one or two.
what I'm saying right now a lot is yeehaw. Like I've learned that. Like I'll just like start saying like the end of things, like just like complete like not like excited, I'll just be like yeehaw, like just like completely dead face, and I just like laugh at it every time because it's just like completely like dumb. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like, oh man, I just like won the level, yeehaw. Like
Well, where did that come from? Because I mean,
I
obviously
have
the
no
yeehaw
idea.
is a Western thing, cowboys and shit. But is there somewhere else you heard it, or someone said it off the cuff on a message board somewhere, and it just like stuck with you? Like what?
I legitimately don't know. I think
What?
one of my friends started saying it. And like they said it
Okay.
once, and then like as I took it one day. I just kept saying it over and over. Because I'll take this like kind of like what I do. I'll take one thing, and I'll just kind of like put it into different contexts and scenarios. I'm like, this is funny in this context scenario and whatever. And it's it's improv. You take the running joke and you run with it, and then you link it back. And then that's what I did. And I said it so much one day that I'm just like it became permanently ingrained into my vocabulary at this point.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
So, following off of that, what is your least favorite word?
Follow for follow. If I get another DM with those words with that hashtag in it, I swear to God, dude. These DMs are gonna catch these fists.
Catch these hands. To try me, you won't.
Yeah. See me on the playground, kiddo. I'm ripped.
Now, What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I'm glad that went the direction it did. I thought this was going to get weird real fast. The little pause, I'm like, uh-oh. Ooh. To answer the question, though, just that comedic self-fulfillment, right? When it's the two things, like people telling me that they felt better, like, after watching my stream, or they like what I do, and it helps them. That's just the spiritual hard on right there, dude. Just instant, spiritual boner. The other one is just like actually seeing my progress, because like I remember I watched my last 2-year anniversary. I watched we had a clipathon where I had 3 hours worth of clips. I was genuinely shocked by that.
Wow.
And I remember like watching them. I basically did like reverse, like I rewatched myself regress basically, right? And over like the past like year-ish, I saw a definite improvement where I was like, okay, I could like point out, like I remembered those jokes, and I was like, oh, I remember that day. I was actually really happy that day. And I liked seeing that regression of like, because I like seeing the regression, because then I thought about the progression,
Yeah, I got you.
where I saw myself like, oh, I'm actually getting better. I can see it now. Like it's in these little clips. Like I'm making better jokes. I'm getting better timing and stuff like that. I'm feeling like I'm getting to a point where I can almost say I'm proud of what I do, which I couldn't do for a long time.
Good for you. So then, on the other side of that coin, what turns you off in the same way?
I'd say getting obsessed, like no matter what it is. Just,
Yeah.
I feel like once I hit an obsession, basically out with anything outside of a game, because I can get obsessed with a game and I'm good to go, dude. That fulfills me. And then the emptiness, the post game depression. I don't want to talk about Persona 5. I'm still reeling. But it's just like getting obsessed with anything, whether it's like I get obsessed with my followers or the sub count or the viewer count or whatever. It's just anything. Like I could get obsessed with good grades and I'd still probably hate it. Like I don't like becoming that obsessive, like goal pursuant person that I was at one point in time. It reminds me of bad days, basically, and I don't want that.
Okay. Thank you. Now,
thank you.
It's a pleasure, honestly. Now, what is your favorite curse word? Not just word, your favorite curse word.
It's a little side, but I'm changing my answer to the first question. What's my favorite word? Mongoloid. Or Neanderthal on the other side of the coin. The other side of the Homo family coin, I should say.
So then you went back to change that. So that makes me very curious. What is your favorite curse word then?
Well, I think the one I say the most is probably like fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's my favorite. I think there's a kind of beauty to like cursing someone out in like a really roundabout way that doesn't use curse words. So I like to call people like you absolute Neanderthal. Like that's more beautiful to me than just like, hey, you're a real big dumb stupid shithead. Like anybody can do that, but I can be like, you absolute mongoloid. If your genus were to progress down the line to a modern day, your brow would be so protruded that it could provide shade for children. Like people, like exactly, like there's a beauty to that. Then like, anybody can call him a shithead, but then like you just called this guy's eyebrow like fucking dumb, and how do you respond to that? Like, oh, well, you're dumb. Like you can't respond to it. And it's hilarious. I love it.
That was that touched me in a way that I hadn't realized I could feel. That was beautiful.
I'm glad I could touch you by insulting Neanderthals everywhere. I apologize to all Homo erectus.
So now, what is a sound or noise that you love?
Whatever the opposite of ASMR is, I hate that shit, dude. Hopefully that's the next question, because I'm gonna rant. No, I just. Okay. A sound or no, I don't know. It's oh my god, it's gonna sound so passe, but I love laughter. I like hearing people laugh, because if it's my jokes, it makes me happy. It's that pure primal thing.
No wonder you've been enjoying this interview.
Hell yeah, dude. Get my laugh count up. Ooh.
Now, let's get right into it then. What is a sound or noise that you hate?
Oh god, fucking ASMR, dude. There's
what
something
is
about it. Like it's
what
actually
is it?
like it's primal. Like it's actually a pure physical reaction. Like mentally I don't care, right? But like when I hear someone like trying to like just like I'm currently rimming someone's asshole live on mic like that, you know, like it's just like I can feel it in like my spine. It's like something like shoots up my spine, and like it's not like tingling. It's not like the good kind of tingling. It's like a fight or flight response, right? Like I feel like I actually get angry and I'm like I have to punch something. I'm in danger. I
Wow.
need to fight. It's so weird. I cannot explain it.
Well, here's what I'll say is that it seems like there's really just two types of ASMR from my knowledge of ASMR is extremely peripheral.
Same, because I can't get through a video.
But the thing is a long time ago I followed this subreddit. It was all ASMR, and I never watched any of the videos, but it was like on my to-do list. Like I should watch an ASMR video. I don't understand what this is all about. And I saw a lot of the videos where it's like intentional, like they would tag things. They would say, intentional female date play, or unintentional male reading. Just like they would list it in different ways. And fairly recently, after talking to Sunday, I said, "Oh, all right, let me try listening to some ASMR." And the first video I opened was a girl eating watermelon near a microphone.
That just sounds so weird. Like when you
the
describe it like that. Yeah, dude, it's a video of a girl eating watermelon from a microphone.
Legitimately, that's what happened, and I
know
closed it.
it's just out of context. It's so great.
And then the next video, I don't know what I expected. I don't remember what the title was, but the girl legitimately just straight up licked the microphone.
Oh, I think I know what video you're talking. I heard that. I watched that one. I was just like, man, I think of where that microphone's been, dude. Come on, that's unsanitary.
I legitimately cringed and like took my headphones off and stopped the video. That to me, it's just so intensely uncomfortable. However, something else, I haven't watched any of the ones where it's like unintentional person speaking or whatever, but there's a couple of video series. There's this one that I found a while ago, and I've seen it come up when people mention ASMR here and there. But it's this video series where this person does cooking, but like with incredibly tiny utensils. Like they'll have like a tiny replica oven, and they'll literally put like, those little like metal flat candles.
Oh,
Buy,
yeah.
like a bag of 100. Yeah, they'll like literally put one of those in the bottom of this like tiny play oven, and they'll actually cook like this thimbleful of a meat.
Oh my god.
But it's like the sounds, it's just of cooking, and the scraping of like a utensil and like a little tiny fire crackling. There's another channel that they just have this big kitchen and they just make things that are delicious looking on camera, and it's just the sounds of the kitchen and the packaging and etc. So I think that perhaps you should consider checking out that sort of thing, because legitimately they're relaxing and just enjoyable, aesthetically pleasing, both orally and visually experiences. So I think that your perception of ASMR, and much as mine is in general, to be frank with you, ASMR isn't something that I personally find an affinity with, as I said to Sunday, but I definitely think that there is something, there are some types of it that can be enjoyed more generally.
Yeah, I think you might be right, because I feel like I'm a little too judgmental with it sometimes. But at the same time, I can't fight like my actual primal instinct, like, because it's something about I think it's something about like it being like in my head, right? Like it's
Okay.
it's so like quiet, but it's so loud at the same time. Like that's like you can like hear it in your own head, right? That's like
Yeah, I got you.
this is a foreign invader, man the battle stations, basically is what my brain tells me.
So, and anyways, off of that, moving the questionnaire forward, what is a profession other than your own that you would like to attempt?
Uh-oh, I can't play video games for a living. Shit.
Well, I mean,
There
it's
goes
something you would
that
like
plan.
to try. Even if it wasn't, like, this isn't by any means saying if you could do the next thing that you decide to mention right now for the rest of your life. No. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? So if all barriers were down and you could go and live a day in the life of, or month or week or however long you want, of anything else, any other possible job you know exists, what would you like to try?
I'd want to be an artist of some
In
kind,
what regard?
whether it be like drawing or music, just an artist of some kind. Just because I feel like their brains work differently, right? They don't see things the same way I do. And just, I know this is going to sound super shitty when I say it about myself, but it'd be nice, like, know what it feels like to have, like, talent with something, you know? I've never been talented, like, with drawing or, like, music. I've worked really hard for a while on guitar, but I just never got there, and I didn't see as I am the goal person, I didn't see a goal with it, so I couldn't keep going.
See, I think you shouldn't discredit yourself for saying you don't have a specific talent, because I think everyone has things that they're better at and they're worse at than others, and sometimes people just really take to a thing. They just immediately are very good at it. I mean, of course, there's a lot of work and progression and focus on improving that needs to happen for them to continue to become better. But some people, they do have the advantage of initially being better at a thing. So I don't think it's wrong of you to say, like, you want to experience what it's like to have that sort of inherent talent in a thing on the base level, so that you can focus more on pushing your craft and your technique so much as it instead of focusing on the basics of shit, I can't get shading right.
Yeah, it's that, and like having that be the goal you're passionate about. Because like I always try drawing, because it's always like, oh, I want to get good at drawing, I'll try it. I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't. It takes too long to draw a stick figure at this point. Jesus. It's stuff like that. It's just something like that. I like, if I had the talent, I'd like to do it, but because I don't see a goal for it, and I personally just, like, I don't have the patience or the time for it. I can't get into it. I would love to be able to have that.
Okay, so then, what is a profession that you would very much not like to try?
Working in an office. I feel like that would be the death of me. Because I don't know. I know it is another go back to fight the man, dude. But it just sounds so, like, corporate to me. I've learned that I do, like, really, really well as a human being when I can adhere to my own schedule and I'm self-driven, right? I've in all my jobs, I worked for somebody else and I hated it. Like, the most fun job minimum wage job I had was when I worked at Subway, because when I'd close, I'd work alone. And so I could just do whatever I want, and everything was like, inherent. And that was pretty cool. That was cool until I got robbed. Then, when they start putting guns in your face, like, all right, maybe I should get a new job. But it's like,
thank goodness that you're okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a real gun, but I'm gonna take the chance.
No.
But it's just like that. Like, it is because it was my favorite job, just because it was like I could be self-driven. You
had that autonomy.
Yeah, I didn't have I can't stand when people stand over me like, this is how you should live your life. This is what you should be doing. Excuse me, sir. You don't have your 27 pieces of flair. Deducted 50 points.
Yeah. Okay. And then, as something I would say to that is that it's really awesome that you've kind of pinpointed that for yourself. I would say that you want to make sure that you find some ways to grow that, because it's great that you've got that self-driven passion and need to improve and continue to work on things for yourself. I just think that you want to capitalize on that, find some things that you can sort of work on. I mean, of course, perfect world, you can stream, but maybe take some certification courses on things that you can do yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm going to college for computer science. I'm trying to learn how to become a computer wizard, dude.
Oh, that's the perfect sort of thing where you can dictate your own success. I mean, you can get yourself out there, work on all sorts of different things, do contract work, or you can, be associate directly with the business and work with them. But that's actually a very good point. I completely forgot you mentioned that. So yeah, go with that. Take it as far as you can.
I will do all the computer magic.
Good. And now for the final question of the questionnaire and of the interview. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Hey, it was all right. If I just like an astounding, like, if there was, if there was a guy who just just talking about my life or like whatever, just be like, it was all right. I'll accept that and I'll be perfectly happy.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking part in this interview today. Listeners, thank you so much for being here with us on this 4th episode. Jorpen, do you have any sort of closing words, comments, shout outs, anything you want to say here to kind of cap off your time?
This is going to sound sappy as shit, but I want to say thanks to everyone who has ever watched me at any point or supported me, because you guys are what make this the best job in the world. So thank you all so much. I am permanently indebted to you. I won't help you move. Sorry, but I still love you. So thank you.
And thank you, Jorpen. Again,
thank
friends,
you. This was great. I really enjoyed this, Ryan. You're a good interviewer.
Thank you. That's incredibly generous of you to say. Now, shall I plug your YouTube channel, Twitter, etc.? Or
I'll do it. How about that? Hey,
go for it.
Everybody. My name's Jorpen. You can follow me at twitch.tv/Jorpen with 2 N's. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Jorpen, same with the 2 N's, button underscore afterwards. You can watch my YouTube, but don't. There's nothing on it, and I don't pay attention to it. So you can, but, hey, don't. I don't want expectations here.
I'll make sure to put links in the description on the audio recording. And also, I will soon be opening, I'll soon start uploading and exporting videos for these interviews to a YouTube channel that I've opened in the name of this. SoundCloud, unfortunately, the free account only lets you have so much material up before they make your previous material invisible. So there will be a more permanent platform. You guys may start to see previous interviews start to disappear from the SoundCloud. That's okay. That's by design. I am looking into trying to get things onto the iTunes store. I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. But in the meantime, thank you so much again to everyone who's here, who's listening. Hopefully you had yourselves a great time. And remember, the point of these is to use what you hear as a way to reflect on yourself and to grow. So keep working on what it is you're doing. Remember to take these lessons to heart and use them to inform your own journey. And we'll be back again with another interview. We have someone already lined up this time, so I'll reveal some news about that as the time comes. But in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Jorpen, for being here, and we'll see you in the next interview. Take care.
Bye. I love you.